Please don't do ugly faces, Lucy, because they're gonna come out. I'm just saying, I'm not gonna cut nothing out when I'm doing your makeup. So to begin, I'm applying the Ease Beige shade in number 3, and I won't be doing her eyebrows just because she doesn't like to do them, and I feel like they're perfect anyway, so I'm just going to go ahead and apply that all over the lid to apply the eyeshadows right on top of that. And I'm just taking a Wet n Wild brush to do that. I feel like these are awesome for eyeshadow, and they're only like a couple bucks, so that's what I'm doing. And now I'm taking my Acid Rain paint in the shade Glow Girl by Ease and Mima Mitchell. Once I can get that open. And I'm back. So it's a pretty fuchsia, and I'll go ahead and apply that on her eyelid underneath her first eyeshadow. So just keep on watching to see how I apply the paint on her. This is actually my first time using the paint, and right off the bat, I absolutely loved it. Once I applied it, it was very creamy, very pigmented, and it did exactly what I wanted it to do. It was easy to blend, and it was bold and intense. It was just awesome, so I'll definitely be picking up some more colors in these. Okay, for the first shade, I'll be taking that bright pink from the Jeffree Star times Morphe palette, and I'm just going to be applying it right on top of that paint that I applied. So just building up the color and intensity. It's going to look very weird and harsh, you'll see, but it's going to look amazing at the end. So just tapping that on and making sure it applies where I want it to go, and I'll just be blending all the edges in a little bit. As you can see, I started to drag out that color with that same blending brush. I didn't use a clean one, but I am doing this ever so slightly to prevent any harsh lines. And I'm basically holding the brush with a little bit of pressure so I won't create any harsh lines. Okay, and here I am taking the burgundy shade from the same palette. And don't mind us, we were just being a little bit crazy. My sister couldn't take me serious. I don't know why, she just kept laughing, but yeah, I'm applying that color to the center of the eyelid on top of that hot pink just to intensify it a little bit further. I wasn't really sure what look I wanted to go for at the beginning, to be honest. This was before I was going to do the cut crease. I just started intensifying the look, and then I figured the cut crease would be perfect, so that's what I went with at the end. As you can tell, I started creating that cut crease outline for the eyeshadow with that color, and I will be applying a couple of more colors on top of that as well. Here, I'm just taking that pretty purple color in the center, and I'm going to go ahead and blend out the edges with a little brush. Now I'm grabbing the brown at the bottom right of that palette, and I'm going to go ahead and go over that shape that I want to create for the cut crease. Like in every video, I always say it's just about building up the color and going over areas that you want them to be more intense. So that's what I'm doing here. It is important to create a dark dimension for the cut crease so it will look very sharp. So that's the look I'm going for right now. So I just took some black just to go ahead and make that extra dark. Keep in mind that this is my first cut crease on someone else, so it's not going to be perfect. I know it looks very crazy right now, especially the outside of the eye area, and I'll clean it up after, but right now I'm just going to take that black and extend it outward to create that perfect sharp line. Time to cut the crease. I took my Ease Beige shade again, and I'm going to cut the crease with that. I was very nervous doing this part. It's either I mess up or it turns out really good. And so far so good, so just keep on watching to see the final look. I decided to clean up that eyeshadow because it was getting very messy. So I'm just going to go ahead and clean that eyeshadow on the lid and on the under eye as well. And yes, I did remove that product I had put on initially. The reason being is because I feel like it was too watery. So I grabbed the P. Louise Blank Canvas base and I'm applying that on the eyelid. This product is more drying and I feel like it's a little bit cleaner to work with. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this instead. And to set the lid, I'm just going to take that nude color in the palette and apply it all over. I wasn't sure if I wanted to do glitter or any other shade, but I felt like this would go great with the eye look, so that's what I went for. And I felt like it was too peachy and I wanted it to be more white, so I applied some of that lighter shade on top. Time for liquid liner. I was a little bit nervous doing this step because I remember I could never do eyeliner on anyone else before, but I decided to just go for it and I loved how it turned out. I don't know what it was, it just came out great. Boom, we have the other eye done. Let's move on to the face. I'm taking this e.l.f. primer that my sister likes to use. I personally have never used it, but I did apply some on my face and it felt really good on the skin. So maybe I'll try it. And I'm just applying that with a kabuki brush all over her face. Alright, moving on to foundation. This is a Shape Tape foundation. We were kind of going back and forth because I felt like it was too light for her, but I made it work somehow, and it looked good at the end. Time for concealer. This is the Tarte Shape Tape in medium tan sand. This is the bomb. I love it because it just applies on so smoothly. It looks very good. It stays in place and it's just one of my favorites. Time for powder. This powder is by Dermablend in the shade Cool Beige. It works well with tan skin. Me and my sister both love it. Keep in mind that all the products that I'm mentioning, we both love. This is her makeup I'm using, but these are also some of my personal favorites. So yeah. I pressed the powder right into her skin to create that very smooth finish. This powder just melts into her skin. It has no flashback. It's so good. And I'm just dabbing a little bit all over her face and she doesn't really like to use powder. Finishing off the eyeshadow by applying that hot pink, the burgundy, and that dark brown underneath the eyes just to make it look more intense, more bold, and better. I'm letting her do her own mascara and I'm going to finish off the look with some Miami Lily lashes. Moving on to bronzer, I'm taking the Benefit Hoola Bronzer all over her cheekbones, on her forehead, and her jawline. And I'm going to go ahead and take that same bronzer to contour her nose a little bit. I'm taking some powder to clean her cheek area just to make sure it's not muddy. And I will be applying blush and then some setting spray to go ahead and apply highlight. I'm using the Jaclyn Hill highlighter quad and I'm taking that darker highlight at the bottom right and I'm going to go ahead and apply that to her cheekbones. And I will also be applying some of that gold right on top. It's going to look very, very pretty. Finally, I applied some of the highlight to her nose as well and I'm just letting her do her own lipstick here. And we are finished with the look. Give it a thumbs up if you guys like this look. Leave me a comment down below and don't forget to follow me on Instagram.